Welcome to Week 7 Start Sit. I'm back to TJ Sumter 55. Find me on Twitter, Facebook, or wherever you socialize at. We're going to be talking about start sits today and potential sleepers per game, and who I like today. So if we have any questions, just go ahead and put them in the comments, and I'll get to them. If not, then I'll just start talking about potential sleepers that I like on the day. First of all, we'll start with the Seattle Seahawks and Atlanta Falcons game. Out of that game, I really like Ray McLeod to maybe have a good day today against that team. We shall see. He's been kind of getting more and more targets week after week. Darnell Mooney is also a good play today if you want to start him in your league. He's been a solid flex option week after week. Next, we're moving over to the Detroit Lions Minnesota Vikings game. In that game, I really like the Minnesota Vikings. Jordan Addison today to possibly have a good game. Lions have been allowing a lot through the air and not so much through the run. Other than the 3 touchdown game against that they had against Kenneth Walker a few weeks back, but otherwise they've been pretty solid against the run. So I really like the Minnesota Vikings to kind of be able to beat them through the air today. So like that Jordan Addison would be my call there in that game. The Eagles and Giants game, I look for Wan'Dale Robinson to continue his what he does, and then also Tyrone Tracy. They said he's going to continue to be more and more involved in the offense, and as Singletary works his way back into from his injury, and so Tracy might still see significant volume, and also like he's a pass catcher, so like through the passing game, if they're playing with a deficit against the Eagles, which seems likely but not necessarily unlikely at the time, but Tyrone Tracy, if they're playing from behind especially, could get a lot of work, especially in the passing game. So I really like Tyrone Tracy and Wan'Dale Robinson both in this game as potential sleepers or starts. Probably more of a start for Wan'Dale, more of a sleeper for Tracy, I would say. Cincinnati Bengals and Cleveland Browns. So we had Amari Cooper get shipped off to the Buffalo Bills this week. So that's going to open up somebody for pass catching in that offense. You would have to believe, even though the offense has been absolutely horrid with Deshaun Watson under center. It's been like historically bad. But somebody's got to step up, you would think. I mean, Nick Chubb. I know we probably have our reservations or concerns of him coming off an injury, but I look for him to possibly get up to 15 to 17 touches this game, and he should be a solid option for you. Outside of that, it could be a day that we could see Elijah Moore finally get involved, or Jerry Jeudy. So like if you're at a true desperation, you could possibly look there. On the Cincinnati Bengals side, I'm probably going to fade Zach Moss a little bit in this game, just depending on how the game flows. But I honestly think the Cleveland Browns could kind of maybe surprise in this game with Nick Chubb back, especially if they were to lean on their run game and be able to do some things in that area of the field. Miami Dolphins and Indianapolis Colts game. And in that game, I continue to like Josh Downs, even though with Anthony Richardson back in the lineup. Josh Downs has been a solid option week in and week out. He's been averaging like 6 to 7 catches a game. I think Anthony Richardson will still look his way, and he's been pretty reliable and able to get Downs the ball. Can you play, Rich? I think you can play Anthony Richardson. My reservation with that would be his like running against the Miami Dolphins defense has been somewhat of a difficulty for opposing offenses. So like I don't know how much he's really going to run, and the Colts have seemed to like I don't know what they're trying to do. They're trying to like turn him into a pocket quarterback or what's going on, but I don't know if they actually are going to like finally just going to say, you know, here, go loose or not. But it seems like they're probably still going to hold reservations on him just because he's working his way back from that injury yet. To come through the passing game, I mean, it's possible, but I think this game's going to be pretty tight today. But maybe we get it where he gets a couple like goal line touches with Jonathan Taylor being out, and maybe he kind of runs a couple in. I mean, but you could do worse than Anthony Richardson if you had to. You know, I'd rather play like an Aaron Rodgers over Anthony Richardson, I would think. I'm likely playing running back or wide receiver in a couple superflex spots with Blue Ridge versus Miami. Yeah, like I say, you could do worse than Anthony Richardson, but like I do kind of have my reservations yet, just because he's coming back off that injury, and with the whole him. You would think they're not going to probably try to put him at risk. Yeah, you know what I mean. So moving on to the Houston Texans and Green Bay Packers game. I think Romeo Doubs is a starting play today. He got 2 touchdowns last game. I think he probably continues to do his thing, and he's kind of been Jordan Love's favorite actual wide receiver, not just like using in the gimmicky plays or anything like that, but like he's been pretty consistent with Romeo Doubs when he's been in the lineup, and he's been a huge red zone threat the whole time that he's been there in Green Bay since his rookie year. Tennessee Titans and Buffalo Bills. So we got Amari Cooper out of the lineup on the Buffalo Bills side of the field, and we got Mason Rudolph also starting for the Tennessee Titans, which I really like that for. I really like that for the Tennessee Titans that they have Mason Rudolph. I think that he's going to be able to get the guys the ball more, especially Calvin Ridley. Last week, kind of voicing his frustrations with not getting the ball. If you look back on that game, he got 8 targets, but like I think maybe one of those was catchable in that whole game. They were like 8 to 10 yards off per throw from Will Levis last week. I think Mason will be able to get Ridley the ball this week. So I really like, if you had to flex out somebody, Ridley I don't think it's a bad call this week. The Buffalo Bills can be beat through the air. So that's probably my call in that game. Carolina Panthers and Washington Commanders. I think they're probably going to be able to. I've kind of talked through the season about how the Washington Commanders have given up. They've been kind of one of the worst secondaries in the league, but they've been a little bit better through the season so far. But if I had to pick a sleeper in that game, it's probably going to be Xavier Legette. He ran on 80% of the plays last week, and with Adam Thielen out, I think that's gonna kind of snowball. Like I feel like he's on the field, and I feel like the way that he's being utilized and the targets that he's getting is eventually going to lead to fantasy points. So, like, I think this could be the week where we see an Xavier Legette game, where Xavier Legette breakout, and Andy Darnold's been proven pretty solid to be able to get his wide receivers the ball. Next on the slate is Las Vegas Raiders versus the LA Rams. It's kind of really hard to say outside of Brock Bowers, who could be really reliable for the Raiders. Rams do have quite a few pieces out. Probably a big day for Kyren Williams, to be honest with you. Also, I think maybe finally Jordan Whittington could probably potentially eat. Like if I was in a desperation throw, that's probably who I would throw out there. Would be Jordan Whittington this week. You could honestly that's probably who I'm going to go with, Jordan Whittington in that game. It's not really much to say beyond that game because it's not probably going to be a very competitive game. And Cooper Kupp is still out, so you're not going to be playing Cooper Kupp this week either. So I think you could do worse than putting Whittington out there in a lot of situations. After that, we have the Super Bowl rematch, Kansas City Chiefs versus San Francisco 49ers. I'd be kind of wary of starting Jordan Mason this week. If you have a better option, I probably would. I probably would think about going with that if you have another solid option at running back or in a flex position. I just don't know how much they're actually going to be able, or how much they're going to utilize him with them kind of the mini emergence of Isaac Guerrero in the offense. I feel like it could be closer to a 50-50 split, and I just don't think you're going to get the kind of same upside that you've been getting from him to start the season with this AC joint. I think it probably could be limited to more like 8 to 12 snaps and kind of be almost in a 60-40, 50-50, kind of split with Isaiah Guerrero, maybe with some Taylor mixed in as well. As far as a sleeper in that game, we do have Ricky Pearsall. That's one of the other things about the San Francisco 49ers running backs. Kansas City has been number one against the run this year, so like starting them regardless would be kind of a dart throw in my opinion. But anyway, moving on. Ricky Pearsall starting today for San Francisco 49ers. I feel like he could probably come in and be able to be used right away. I feel like this could probably be the first week where we could actually see some production from Brandon Ayuk and the Brandon Ayuk touchdown. So, like, if I had to make that call right now, I'm probably saying Brandon Ayuk finds his way into the end zone today. Yeah, I like Whittington too. I have him on quite a few dynasty rosters that I had picked him up. He was either a late round dart thrower or not drafted at all in a lot of your dynasty leagues. So if he's still sitting out there in one of your dynasty leagues, he's definitely worth the pickup. Cooper Kupp, I think, will probably be back next week. So like I think you after that, like in your redraft leagues, you could probably just simply drop him after that. Next, we have the New York Jets versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. So we finally have Russell Wilson coming back, or starting his first game as a Pittsburgh Steeler. And then on the other side of the ball, the New York Jets, we have Davante Adams joining the fold with Aaron Rodgers. Now, I do look for Aaron Rodgers to hyper-target his favorite wide receiver that he's ever played with in this game. I also look for, on the other side of the ball, TJ Watt to pressure Rodgers quite a bit because that offensive line, for as good as all the other skill positions are on the Jets, the offensive line has been pretty bad. So I still look for TJ Watt and the defense to get up in the face of Aaron Rodgers and cause a lot of chaos in that game and maybe even force some mistakes in that game. I think it's going to actually be a pretty fun game to watch. Russell Wilson versus Aaron Rodgers has historically been always an entertaining game to watch. So, like, I'm really excited for the Sunday Night Football game. The over-under is only set at 39.5 as well. I think they're going to go over that, and I think a big part of that is going to be you're going to see a lot of Davante Adams. I feel like you're going to see a lot of George Pickens. I don't know if I necessarily have a sleeper pick in that game outside of maybe Jaylen Warren. Maybe he gets loose at one point in the game, but honestly, there's not really probably a solid, really sleeper that I probably could feel comfortable throwing in that game. I think this is a game that's going to actually be closer to 50 points total, and we're going to get some big numbers from couple of players in this game, but it's not going to be probably anybody that you're not expecting. Calvin Austin thoughts? I have to see how well he gels with Russell Wilson, because I think Russell Wilson, as he's 35 years old now, and I feel like his legs are probably somewhat gone. So like him kind of dodging and ducking and diving in the pocket is probably not as reliable as it used to be. So I don't know if Calvin Austin gets loose and he finds him. But the one thing that Russell Wilson does have is he still has his deep ball. And so I really like that for George Pickens. I look for the Steelers to also add another piece to this offense in the coming weeks. And it could be one of the players actually in this game, which could be Mike Williams, because I did hear that Mike Williams is possibly a candidate to get traded to the Steelers, but it would probably be after this week since they play each other this week. But I do like Calvin Austin, though. I do have him stashed in a couple Dynasty leagues as well. I played him a couple weeks ago when he went off, and I played him the week after too. I mean, if you need something late, it's because it's late in the day, and let's say somebody's going to get ruled out Sunday night or for Monday. At least you could do worse than Calvin Austin throwing as a dart throw, right? And then on Monday we have two. On Monday we have two games, and let's see. So on Monday we have two games. We have the Baltimore Ravens and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So one thing about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that I'm going to be worried about is the running backs, the running back room, the running back situation with White, with we got White, and I don't know, that whole running back room is just a mess. They pretty much said, like, this week the coaching staff said they're going to run a three-headed monster or three-headed attack out of the backfield. So I don't know if anybody's truly reliable other than a touchdown. If I had to look somewhere else for a running back, I probably definitely would not start running back for the Buccaneers. I just don't know if you could trust Deshaun Tucker, or you could trust even Rachaad White, or Bucky Irving. I don't know if you can necessarily trust any one running back in that backfield to probably start up against this week, especially against the Baltimore Ravens. I think if anything comes from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it's not going to come from the backfield. More likely, I feel like it's gonna. I feel like if a potential sleeper this week, if you had to go with tight end, would probably be throwing Cade Otton out there. I feel like Cade Otton probably could have himself, a decent game, not anything too crazy, but I feel like he could definitely find his way into the end zone today. I don't know if he's gotten a touchdown this year or not. I would have to fact check that, but I think he's probably a solid flex, or not flex play, but a solid tight end play, especially if you're dealing with bye weeks or injuries, or if you just can't figure out the position quite. It's been kind of a mud hill when it comes to the tight end position. Then on the last game of the week, we have the Arizona Cardinals and Los Angeles Chargers. So I really liked the emergence of Cavani Vidal last week. He caught a great ball, took it to the end zone. On the other side of the ball, Marvin Harrison Jr. is cleared for concussion protocol, so he will be active. I really like that. I really like Greg Dortch in this game, as the Chargers have been getting beat out of the slot position. I feel like Greg Dortch could get hyper targeted in this game. I wouldn't even say hyper targeted. I'd say he could probably get like 4 or 5 balls in this game, for 40 yards, maybe a touchdown. So like Greg Dortch is a dart throw if you need to throw someone in there, especially like we said earlier with injuries, or someone's ruled out late or anything like that. Just make sure you have your lineup to where that's like a flex option for you. you could do worse than him. What's up, Chris? So I kind of went over a lot of sleepers and a lot of a couple start sit questions here. But if we have any more questions, let's go ahead and get them in. Otherwise, I'm going to kind of talk about who I like today and who I don't like for game totals, or in the game totals. PP, Waddle, Ridley, Mike Wilson. So I'm probably between Waddle and Ridley on both of those, as I feel like Ridley could possibly get the ball today, especially with Mason Rudolph under center. But I think I'm going to go Waddle just because the Colts secondary has been completely bad for the most part, except for against Will Levis, which now we probably believe that Will Levis probably wasn't good for that last game and probably shouldn't have played that last game, and maybe shouldn't play at all, and maybe he won't ever even get the job back. But I look for Tyler Huntley to have a solid game today, and if he's going to have a solid game, it definitely involves the pass catchers in that offense. So I'm definitely firing up Jalen Waddle today. Bateman or Wicks. I could be wrong. If I'd have to double check. I did hear something about an injury with Bateman, I believe. I don't know if he's been ruled out. Let me double check for you. Yeah, so he's so out of those two, I think I'd probably go Rashad Bateman. I think Dontavian Wicks is the one that for some reason I was getting those confused backwards, but I know Dontavian Wicks is dealing with the injury as well. So I like Bateman in this game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and against a 49 point total projected total in that game. So they're projecting it to be a high scoring game. I feel like if anything's in it, maybe this kind of becomes a shootout game, where we get a little bit of Mark Andrews, a little bit of Bateman. If it comes from a game where, especially where the Ravens are playing from behind, we definitely see a lot of passing come through the air, and some could come Bateman's way. Waddle or Sermon? I'm not trusting Trey Sermon. Jalen Waddle would be my start there. I feel like Tyler Goodson is probably a better player over Trey Sermon in that game. I feel like Goodson is he's at least the pass catching back, and this game has the potential to be a game where the Colts are playing from behind. And with that being said, if they're playing from behind, more than likely there's going to be more dump offs to Goodson. So I'd probably rather have Goodson over Sermon. I don't think Sermon would be a start. I know he's getting a lot of the short yardage and goal line work. I just don't know if I necessarily could trust it. James Cook or Goodson, 4-point tackle for a loss. So I think I'd probably go to James Cook just because he's still he was good to go. I think he practiced fully on Friday, and Ray Davis is gonna I think probably be more limited in this game as he was kind of banged up. So like I feel like he's probably James Cook is probably the start of the week for that game for sure. So we're just kind of narrowing down. So Waddle or Goodson? I think I'm still sticking with I still think I'm going to stick with Jalen Waddle in that game. Jalen Waddle is due some massive touchdown regression. I just don't know when it's going to come, but I would hate to be the one to have him on my bench when it does come, especially in a plus matchup like this. So Pat Freiermuth or David Njoku. I think I'd probably start David Njoku with the absence of pass catchers in that offense. Minus Amari Cooper now. Someone's got to catch the ball. I know the Browns defense has been really bad, but maybe having Nick Chubb back probably does do Deshaun Watson a little bit of a favor. If they're kind of loading up more with Nick Chubb's in the game, maybe Deshaun Watson kind of has a little bit more time to have quick release of the ball and kind of get David Njoku and others the ball in short yardage situations and kind of be able to move the ball. I feel like this could be a good day for David Njoku. And he's got a good rest of the season schedule too. So I really like David Njoku today over Pat Freiermuth. Besides with that, we'll have to see what the kind of chemistry is with Russell Wilson with Pat Freiermuth coming forward. So we got Kyler Murray or Lamar. So Kyler's got. Kyler's got the Chargers, and we got Lamar and the Browns. I think I'm probably gonna go Kyler Murray today. I think he's got all the weapons, but I don't know how you really say Lamar either. Oh man, that one's tough. That's honestly kind of a coin flip. You're just gonna have to go with your gut on that one. I feel like they're both gonna maybe have a solid day, but I think I lean Kyler, and if it's me, I probably lean Kyler just slightly. Choose 3 PPR: Goodson, Pearsall, Ridley, Kittle, Kels, Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers. Definitely Devontae Adams. I feel like you're gonna probably Devontae Adams definitely gonna fire up Kittle today against the Chiefs. As much as they haven't been allowing running lines on the ground, they have been allowing the most tight ends, and I believe the most catches to tight ends as well. So Kittle is a sure fire startup today. And I think I'd probably go – I think you probably got to go Kels as well. Even though it's kind of a tougher matchup, but I feel like that's probably the start today. Oh, no Kels. Says no Kels. Well, if I don't have Kelson, I'm probably gonna throw Jacoby Myers. I think is ruled out, so I'm probably gonna go Calvin Ridley in that game. Mike Wilson or Ladd McConkey. I'm definitely going Ladd McConkey in that game. Mike Wilson, I'm sure, is going to be fine. I think you're just more depending on a touchdown. I feel like Ladd McConkey is actually getting more catches and more volume through Justin Herbert. And I feel like that's going to be something that's going to continue week after week. I feel like he's more somebody that you can lean on, especially in a flex play, probably more than you can over Mike Wilson. Ladd McConkey is definitely someone that I would want to have rostered. See, we got Goff, Kirk, or Anthony Richardson, and he says in a 4-point passing touchdown. So in a 4-point passing touchdown, usually I like to have someone that can run the ball because a rushing touchdown is worth more than a passing touchdown. But we also have the Atlanta Falcons, or excuse me. Let me see who we got. Atlanta Falcons, the Seahawks, and then we got. I'm going to go with Golf against the. You know what? No, yeah, Golf. I'm going to go against Golf against the Vikings. I feel like Golf could get it done through the air today. I feel like as good as Minnesota's defense has been, it's a division matchup. So I feel like whatever you feel like on that defense, you can just throw that all out the window. I feel like Jared Goff could definitely get it done through the air today. I feel like that's probably one of the weaknesses of that you could probably that the Lions might be able to expose out of the Vikings team. Amon-Ra had both games last year were really solid. I think he had over 100 yards in both games last year, maybe a touchdown. You could fact check me on that, but I'm pretty sure he had two really solid games last year. So I look for Amon-Ra to have a solid day. Jameson Williams as well could also bust them over the top at any time, as we've seen about every other week out of him. So I think I'm going to go Jared Goff in that divisional matchup, which would that would be my call at least. Rashad Bateman or Wilson, half-point PPR. I think I'd go Wilson in that scenario. We talked about Kyler, how we like Kyler. Probably I like Kyler a little bit more than Lamar. I feel like out of those two, I definitely have to, like I said, it's kind of almost the same situation as Kyler and Lamar, but I think I have to give the little bit of the edge to Michael Wilson in that game. Are we ready to trust Chubb yet? Yeah, I feel like if there's I feel like I'm gonna be early to the party and late to the party, and I feel like they're not gonna put Chubb out there unless they're fully confident in Chubb. I don't know if he's necessarily going to have the same exact volume that he had previous to his injury or anything like that. At the top of the show, I said I think he's probably going to have 12 to 15 touches in the game, which might be pretty valuable touches. And I think it's actually going to be a better thing for the Cleveland Browns offense as a whole is having him back in that backfield, even if he's more of a decoy at times, and using him in pass protection. But I think I'm fully ready to trust Chubb. I don't know if I necessarily trust Deshaun Watson and the rest of the offense, but maybe having Chubb back really helps that situation there. Maserati Marv or Jalen Waddle. I think I'd probably go Jalen Waddle in that game. Surprisingly, some reason I'm just not feeling the Marvin Harrison Jr. Game this week. I don't know. There's just something about that I'm just not feeling. Him coming off that concussion and all that, and kind of being more limited in the practices and stuff. I just don't know how much they actually have him, integrated in the game plan, because I feel like this could be a game where they kind of pull away from potentially, and this could be like a big James Conner day, a big running back game for both teams. So I feel like he probably is I feel like Jalen Waddle is just. I'm just giving a slight edge to Maserati Marv hasn't been really great except for a couple games this year. Otherwise, it's been pretty middle. It hasn't really been much greater than Waddle. The only thing that's pretty much selling him over Waddle is just the touchdowns. Chase Brown or Zach Moss, point PBR. I'm going Chase Brown. I feel like Zach Moss is probably in the doghouse after that last game and getting that fumble against the Giants. I feel like this is Chase Brown's backfield for now. I don't know if his pass protection holds up. Chase Brown's going to continue getting more and more work and holding the job. If mistakes are made, we're going to see more Zach Moss. As far as goal line situations go, it's probably still going to be Zach Moss. So Chase Brown's going to probably get the majority, with Zach Moss getting a lot of the goal line work, so he can vulture some of that goal line work away from Chase Brown potentially. But week in and week out, it's probably Chase Moss from here on out until something else changes. Brown, Achane, Aaron Jones, Chubb, Goodson, standard. In a standard league, I'm probably gonna just go Chubb. I mean, that's a lot to throw out there, but I'm probably just gonna go Chubb. I just feel like it's standard league, he's probably the safest option possibly. Aaron Jones is always a fire up player, but the Lions, other than giving up the 3 touchdowns that they gave up against Kenneth Walker, the Lions have been really solid against the running backs, and Aaron Jones is also dealing with his injury. I believe he's going to be active. I haven't heard anything to the contrary as of yet, but I think he should be good to go, but maybe he's more of in a 50-50 split as well. Achane, kind of the same thing. I mean, really, he's coming back from that concussion. Brown's a good play, but out of that bunch, and especially in standard, I think I just like Nick Chubb just a little bit more. I feel like, and talk about standard. I feel like if the Browns get anywhere close to that 5-yard line, they're gonna make sure Nick Chubb gets in. It's just like going to be like a sentimental thing that they actually try to get Nick Chubb in the game and get him a touchdown because it's kind of like a heartfelt thing for them. Herbert, Sam Darnold, or Andy Dalton, 6-point passing touchdown. So I think I could be wrong. Let me check here. So I think I'm gonna go Sam. All right, sorry. I'm probably fading Herbert. Sam Darnold's a decent play, but I think I'm gonna go Andy Dalton in a plus matchup against this Washington team, and that game actually has the highest over under of the week at 51.5. So I feel like that's definitely the person I'm gonna go with is Andy Dalton. Pretty solid quarterback for you week in and week out since he's taken that job. Russ or Mason Rudolph. I'm gonna go Mason Rudolph. Surprisingly, but I think the Jets are going to come up for this game, and they're not going to hold anything back, and they're going to do everything they can to show a dominant performance in this game and show them why they got Davante Adams and show you why they got Hassan Reddick's deal done for him to come back this next week. So I look for the Jets to have a dominant performance against the Steelers. But I guess we'll see what happens there. Yeah, and a 4-point, it's probably still the same thing. I just don't think you can necessarily trust Russell Wilson's legs at this point to possibly run a lot or get a rushing touchdown. I mean, it would have to be a goal line thing almost. Tracy or Goodson? I think I go Goodson just because I think the Colts could possibly be playing from behind. So I really like Goodson in that game. Choose one: Breece Hall, James Conner, Nick Chubb. Standard bonus for 40, 50, 60. So out of those guys, I think I'd probably go James Conner in that game. I feel like I kind of said it before. Like it could be a high rushing total in that game, especially for James Conner. He's definitely someone that I really like today. And he's definitely someone that has the breakaway speed. I don't know necessarily with Chubb coming back from that injury if he necessarily has the breakaway speed to get a 40, 50, or 60-yard bonus for rushes. I feel like he could probably bust away, but he'd probably get tackled after about 20. So I guess we'll kind of see how his knee holds up during the week. We know the Breece Hall definitely has the breakaway speed as well. I just necessarily don't know if that's going to come against this the Steelers defense this week. Trey Sermon or Chase Brown this week? I'm going Chase Brown. I'm going Chase Brown pretty heavily. There's no question about it. Kind of talked about it just a few minutes ago, but Chase Brown's been he's pretty much taken this running back room over from Zach Moss, and as long as his pass protection holds up and he's not making mistakes out there, it's going to continue. And he's probably going to surprisingly be a top 15 RB rest of the season as long as that holds up. And as far as Trey Sermon goes, I think Goodson is probably a better play than Sermon this week. So kind of a dart throw here. We got Braylon Allen, Kamani Vidal, or Kyle Juszczyk. I think I'm going to go Kamani Vidal in a full-point PPR. I know Braylon Allen's going to get some of his work. I think he's been getting about a 35% rush share or snap share with him and Breece Hall. But I feel like Kamani Vidal is going to kind of get more of a 35 to 40% in that game. I feel like he's going to get more of a 35 to 40%. And he showed, out of the backfield last week where he got that catch and ran in for a touchdown. He kind of showed a little something, and I really like his potential to get more work this week and in the coming weeks with Gus Edwards sidelined. So I'm definitely all in on Kamani Vidal because I also think this is going to be a game where the Chargers could definitely be playing with the lead and be playing with the lead the whole game. And what that means is that Kamani Vidal will get even more work beyond that because if they're playing with the lead, they're going to run the ball more. That means they're probably going to want to rest J.K. Dobbins a little bit more later in the game, which we could see more Kamani Vidal down the stretch. So that's why I really like the Kamani Vidal in that situation. Morning, bro. What's up? He says Chuba or Chase Brown. That's definitely two players that I have kind of in similar spots. I think I'm going to lean Chase Brown just slightly in that game, even though I really like the total over-under, but I just think it's going to come more through the passing game in that Panthers game. Juice 3, Juju, Ray, Tutu, Noah Brown, Whittington, Elijah Moore, Shepard. So I'm probably fading the last two. And I'm going to go – Juju's a lock for me. And I think I'm going to go Whittington and Noah Brown out of that set. Anyway, I think that probably kind of wraps things up this morning. I'd like to thank you for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you guys next week. We'll definitely see you guys Tuesday for Siege and Destroy. Also look for Kevin Wilson's article on bellyup.com for his start sit as well for some information there. Definitely something that I'm following that should be followed week in and week out by you guys that want to win in your leagues. I appreciate you guys, and have a great day.